Did you know the language you're reading right now influences nearly every corner of the globe? From blockbuster movies to international business deals, English has woven itself into the fabric of our interconnected world. But how did one language become so dominant? And what does its continued evolution mean for the future of global communication? English has evolved from a regional tongue spoken on a small island to the undisputed lingua franca of the modern world. With approximately 1.53 billion speakers worldwide in 2025, either natively or as a second language, English dominates international communication, business, science, and entertainment. This staggering reach is not merely a linguistic phenomenon, but a force that shapes global politics, economies, cultures, and societies. As the language of globalization, English facilitates cross-border connections while also sparking debates about cultural imperialism and inequality. This article explores the historical roots of its rise, its multifaceted impacts, and the challenges it poses in an increasingly interconnected world. Settlements in North America, Australia, the Caribbean, Africa, and Asia embedded English in diverse regions, often through institutions like education and governance. By the 20th century, the United States' economic and cultural dominance, fueled by the Industrial Revolution, Hollywood, and technological innovations like the Internet, further propelled English forward. Key milestones include its adoption as a working language in international organizations such as the United Nations in 1945, and its role in post-colonial nations like India and Nigeria, where it remained a neutral lingua franca amid linguistic diversity. The electronic revolution of the 1970s, centered in the U.S., solidified English's position, with early computer protocols and the Internet predominantly using the language. As noted in historical analyses, figures like John Adams and Jakob Grimm predicted this dominance. Due to population growth in English-speaking regions and Britain's imperial influence, English is an official language in over 70 countries and a priority foreign language in more than 100 others, including powerhouses like China and Germany. In 2025, English boasts around 450 million native speakers, but its total user base swells to over 1.5 billion when including second language speakers, representing about 20% of the global population. Countries like India contribute massively, with 265 million English speakers, followed by Pakistan, 25 million, and Bangladesh, 29 million. English accounts for 60% of global internet content and is the medium for all 100 of the world's most influential science journals. Nearly 100% of European students study English at some point, underscoring its educational ubiquity. Population growth in non-native regions, such as India's doubling since 1960 to over 1 billion by 1999, with ongoing increases, has amplified its spread. English's economic influence is profound, acting as the backbone of global trade, finance, and innovation. It is the lingua franca of the global economy, with cities like London and New York historically serving as investment hubs. Proficiency in English correlates with higher earning potential and access to international markets, particularly in sectors like technology and science. For instance, in India, English is viewed as a tool for upward mobility, shielding non-Hindi speakers and lower castes from majority domination, while enabling participation in global business. On a broader scale, English dominance benefits native speakers through smug monolingualism, giving Americans and others an edge in global dealings. It also drives economic imperialism, as seen in the U.S.'s 20th century supremacy, where English facilitated the spread of technologies like the telegraph and internet. However, this creates disparities, favoring market-dominant minorities, such as English-speaking elites in South Africa or Rwanda. Culturally, English has both unified and transformed societies. It is the language of pop culture, with Hollywood films, BBC broadcasts, and global media like satellite TV disseminating Anglo-American influences worldwide. Literary giants like Shakespeare have cemented its legacy, while modern media reinforces its appeal. In multilingual nations, English fosters cultural exchange, but also leads to diglossia, where local dialects express identity and a standardized world standard spoken English handles international interactions. Yet, this spread raises concerns about cultural homogenization. In France, despite laws like the Toubon Law mandating French in media and banning English terms, 90% of students opt for English, and young artists increasingly perform in it. In former colonies like Algeria and Morocco, shifting to English symbolizes modernization and resistance to French colonial legacies. Socially, English promotes mutual intelligibility and safety in global contexts, such as air traffic control, standardized by ICAO post-World War II, and maritime communication, Seaspeak, in 1980, though accent-related mishaps like the 1977 Tenerife disaster highlight risks. It enables dual identities, blending national varieties, e.g., Indian or Nigerian English, with global standards. Politically, English is embedded in diplomacy, used in organizations like the EU, OPEC, and NATO. In post-colonial settings, it acts as a neutral bridge, but it's also contested. India's Hindu nationalists see it as a colonial remnant impeding unity. Policies like the U.S.'s English Plus resolution emphasize multilingualism alongside English proficiency. Despite its benefits, English's dominance sparks backlash. It is linked to neoliberal globalization. As the world grows more interconnected, balancing English's advantages with multilingualism will be key to equitable global progress. Whether viewed as a blessing or a curse, its influence is undeniable and likely to endure.